Hey everybody, welcome to Surface Level, a show that takes a look at society's expectations and rejects the ones we don't see it for, all from the perspective of three black queer best friends. I'm one of your hosts, Damon, and today Tony, Jordan, and I are discussing the Magical Negro still being out of office. Do we think there are actual benefits to being a black professional in 2021? Should we focus more on black entrepreneurship than on having a seat at a corporate table? This is Affirmative in Action. Affirmative in Action. Okay, so we're going to revisit the work again.
Yes.
Jordan is very excited.
Our favorite thing.
Always.
Yay.
Always excited to talk about the office outside of the office.
That paycheck.
So speaking of the office outside of the office, we're going to start with a game.
Okay.
A little virtual work themed scenarios that we'll play
Ooh.
around with as a little update to the last time we played a work game.
Yes.
So, what pisses you off more? A 9 a.m. Zoom call or after 6 p.m. Slacks?
Oh, child.
Oh, I'm gonna say a 9 a.m. Zoom call because I think the expectation is that you need to be present for that.
Yeah.
After 6 Slack, you're gonna have to
That's
catch me in the
tomorrow's
morning,
work.
baby. You missed the deadline.
Same.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, like, I don't even get notifications for Slack on my phone.
Turn them off.
So the 9 a.m. is definitely the case, and especially where we work, because that's not the norm. So yeah, you can miss me with the 9 a.m.
You have 9 a.m. Zoom calls, Damon?
Girl, yes.
Ooh.
Child.
Well, the fun.
I don't know the last time I had a 9 a.m.
What was the
meeting.
reason?
Nothing. That's why I never mind.
All right, now let's move on.
Lesser of two evils. A 3-hour-long scheduled virtual meeting or a let's hop on a call meeting?
Ooh.
Sometimes hopping on a call is like, it's necessary, and it helps you to talk through the details when it's a lot of confusion. A 3-hour scheduled Zoom call, like, I'm not here for that. That's a large chunk of my day.
I'm also asleep.
I'm definitely can't focus.
Like, what are we doing? No, definitely the 3-hour Zoom call is like murder. Like, I can't even imagine sitting through that.
I picked that.
What?
I
You picked what?
The 3-hour meeting.
Really?
Because if it's a 3-hour meeting, that likely means there are like 75 people on it, and I'm not really focal. Versus like you running up on me in the middle of my day, it's not something I don't like surprises.
Ciao.
Um,
They're gonna be like, Damon, what was said at X time? You have to repeat that back.
No, they'd be like,
Please.
Damon, something. I'm like, can you repeat that, please? I don't know what you're talking about. Next, so if you are off camera during a meeting, are you most likely paying close attention, taking a nap, not even home?
Well, that not even home option is a key.
Well, if I'm off camera, I'm definitely multitasking on sleep. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm definitely at home. I'm not going anywhere. Like, I have nowhere to go usually. So I'll say a nap. I actually took a nap on a Zoom call earlier today. I mean, it was for an extracurricular program.
Let go.
It was for extracurricular.
Fire your ass. No, if I'm off camera, I am probably just really comfortable. I might be laid out on the couch or laid out in my bed, like somewhere that's not appropriate for me to be on screen, on the main stage. So, Damon, what about you?
I have taken a whole call off camera from the Stairmaster at the gym.
Well, no,
And you know why?
that's okay.
Because it was that fucking 9 a.m. Zoom call that we have every week. And I was just like, I don't even speak in this. I'm not leaving. I just stayed on Stairmaster.
Well, there you go.
That's okay.
Okay.
You were present.
I was present. Barely accounted for, but present. Lesser of two evils again. The beginning of the week, virtual small talk about your weekend. Or the end of the week, virtual happy hour.
Oh.
Which do you prefer?
Which is the lesser of two evils, because I don't think we prefer either.
I think the lesser of two evils for me is small talk. I don't want to do a happy hour over Zoom. I'm so happy it stopped, though. I haven't had one of those invitations in a very long time. That was like a very beginning of the pandemic trend.
I have one next week. We have an executive leaving, so.
Oh, okay.
The lesser of two evils for me would be the happy hour because it involves a beverage.
Yeah.
And the small talk is like, why are you?
I
How
can't-
was your weekend? Fine.
I hate the small talk.
Not fine.
Oh my God, the weather was so nice this weekend. Yes, we all saw it. All right. Okay, so last couple scenarios. They sent the return to work survey. Are you voting to head back in full time, part time, or never see that bitch again?
Part-time for me, for sure. I'm a people person. The work I do is very collaborative, and I think you miss out on a lot of relationship building by not being in the office. Like the normal chatter you have when you're sitting around at your desk, going to get coffee, going to lunch, talking shit, like pulling someone in a conference room and being like, bitch.
Right.
If they don't, you better get her before I get her. The meeting before the meeting, you
Yeah.
got to plot on somebody. So yeah, I need a hybrid moment.
I say partial too. I'm actually, I think, going into my office for the first time next week ever
Oh my God.
for like a meeting.
Really?
Yeah. Well, not a meeting. We're going to the showroom because it's marketing. And I'm like, can I see the clothes for once, please? So me and my manager are going to go in.
They're gonna
Child,
do the clothes for
it's
you.
a sabotage. They trying to get you. They trying
Oh,
to,
no, baby.
Like, you like it, huh?
Surely don't.
Well, this is your desk.
Mm-mm. Don't have one. I already told them I don't like desk. I was just like, I don't like desk because I don't like having a place where people can always find me. I'm just like, I work from places with a laptop. You need to talk to me, seek me out. Jordan.
I would say partial too. I mean, there's certain projects where I just need to be in a workspace.
Mhm.
Like when I'm writing or something like that, like I get very stir crazy sitting in my bedroom staring at the wall. That's where my desk is. And I'm just like, I have nowhere to go. I don't want to go to the coffee shop. The living room doesn't help. It's just like
There's a meeting in your bedroom.
basically
Not the kind you want.
every single day, and not the kind you think.
And then last open-ended, what do you actually miss about The Office?
I miss exactly what I just said earlier about
The collaborative part, talking
people,
shit.
and there was always so much going on in the Viacom headquarters with events and just different programming and stuff like that. Walking through the halls, it was always buzzing, and that was kind of exciting to just be in that, hub of talent with everyone walking around and meeting new people. So that's what I miss the most.
I don't know if this is the most, but y'all, I miss not having to make my own lunch every damn day.
Oh,
I'm sick of eating my
Oh.
food, and I can cook. I'm sick. I am sick. I can't think of nothing else to cook. I don't want anything else that's in walking distance to my house.
Jordan, what about you?
I miss people too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just miss like having.
So girl, I've been hanging out with Tony all pandemic.
I need
that was the people you
people.
talked to. I need people.
Seriously, I mean, not all the time, but like it was
No, I
nice
feel
to
you.
like grab a coffee with somebody, kiki with somebody.
Yeah.
I feel so alone. It's so weird.
All right. So this topic came up we're reaching a point where we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of some pretty seismic cultural shifts in America. Following the murder of George Floyd last year, it was a match lit around the topic of systemic oppression of Black people, and a lot of that discussion filtered into corporate America. And a lot of organizations have been taking a look and focusing on Black professionals, taking a look at how they've underserved us in a lot of ways, well, allegedly. And that's kind of the basis for why we felt this was an appropriate time to have this conversation. So starting here, do we feel like non-Black coworkers at this point are holding a view that Black professionals are experiencing advantages in the workplace as a result of the Black Lives Matter social climate? Tony's over there smirking, so she's fired up.
I feel like white people are in their bag. Like they can't take right now because there's a lot of attention and spotlight on Black Lives Matter and every other life outside of just white lives, which is always, the attention's always been there. But they can't take. So I think absolutely, unequivocally, and on no uncertain terms, are they like feeling a little, I don't know, neglected, if you will. And that to me is so mind-boggling, but I live for it because it's like, yeah, it's about time you feel uncomfortable because this is how we always feel. And so I think that it's definitely, an adjustment for them. And I've been in about like during when everything was going on, Viacom CBS had these listening sessions where they brought in a doctor, and it was like an open forum for people to basically express their feelings about how they're feeling about whatever, everything happening in the world. And there was a question that came up about white people and them feeling like because there's a spotlight on Black lives and Black employees and at the time that's what spotlight was on, it's taking away from their opportunity to advance. And it's a real thing. But I just sit back and give the girls that smirk I was given when you read the question. So, Jordan, what about you? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think even before, everything that happened last year, I think even like going back like 2 years before this, I was hearing comments like, you're Black, so like you're probably going to get this job, or this person is Black, so they'll be able to get this role, or like more recently, like this is your time to shine. Your application is probably going to stand out. I think that all of those things have definitely been happening and have been heard, and I don't think it's completely false. I think a lot of companies have made public announcements about how they're trying to, I guess, correct the inequality that they have within their workplaces. But I think the idea that it's unfair is really annoying. But what's that saying that equality can feel like oppression?
Oh, when you've never shit.
You know what I'm
when
talking
you've
about?
always been on, it's basically like when you've always been on top.
Yeah.
Equality feels like oppression.
Yeah, it's like one of those things, right? Where it's just like, first of all,
Listen,
this is retroactive opportunity.
the bitches is mad.
Yeah, I think what I think is a more interesting thing that I've thought about, specifically from a conversation I had with a previous coworker of mine who we're very good friends now. She's Puerto Rican. And we were having a discussion kind of about the same thing, about the focus on one minority group and not others. And like, does that create an environment where people feel like they're being looked over, or we don't feel like we're looking at all different types of people? And what was the interesting conversation I was having with her literally last night was around the fact that I think that Black people, brown people, queer people, women, so on, anybody who's basically not cisgendered white male professionals have like been scraping for crumbs so long that like we get into situations where one person's shining and then we forget who the damn enemy is. And like, not saying white men are the enemy, but saying like the system that has placed all these different types of people in an inferior position is the problem. And that's the thing that we all, I think, need to more collectively be having conversations about, and not like,
Agreed.
Oh, Black people, you're getting your moment now, so wait, but what about me? Or now there's a discussion around Asian people and how they're being mistreated, and now people are like, well, what about when you weren't there for me? It's just like we're all infighting with each other, and at the end of the day, we're still not. It seems like we're getting more, but we're not. We're just getting shine at the same little part of what's being given.
Oh.
So do we think, going forward, like out of all this shine and attention, are there actual benefits that we've experienced or that we see directly to being a Black professional in 2021? Jordan, you want to start?
I think that if you're privileged enough to have attained a college degree, entered into and advanced within your field, and are still going, there are more opportunities today than there was maybe yesterday or last year. But the reality is, throughout my entire career, I've only interacted with a handful of other Black colleagues across the different companies that I worked with over my career. And I'm relieved that corporate America is being forced to acknowledge the fact that their workforce needs to reflect what the society looks like. But I don't think that people need to view it as a benefit, personally. I think that the Black people who are in these professional settings, they are extremely well aligned and almost lucky to have those opportunities. And I think that any additional opportunities that we get, once again, are retroactive opportunities. Like, I think this is something that we needed a very long time ago, and I think that it's still just the start. So it may look like a benefit because we're getting more than we were getting last month, last year, 2 years ago, but at the end of the day, we're still working at a deficit.
Right.
So,
Tony?
yeah.
Well, I tend to feel that there is and always has been a benefit of being a black person in corporate America. I know there's a lot of setbacks and drawbacks, but I think that there's space to be black and excellent within a corporate environment. I feel that companies need us now more than ever, but they've always needed us. They've always needed our perspective. Have our perspectives always been welcomed, and have we always, had a seat at the table but been able to voice our opinions and thoughts? No. But that is it's kind of like been their loss. We've been here. And yes, I think that there needs to be more of us, but I feel like you should take advantage of the watershed moment and capitalize on the opportunities, any opportunities that have presented themselves over the course of the last year and that come in the future, because white people are finally opening their eyes and ears just a smidge. But I think that capitalize on it. Like, take this time and ask for what you want. Speak up. Give your thoughts. I always say we get paid to have an opinion, and when you're sitting at the table and kind of just muting yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice. So I am a proponent of say it how you mean it, or
say it with your chest.
Right, say it with your chest. And what I found is that, especially now, when I lean into that, it's actually like putting more respect on my name. People are coming to me. They're looking at me in a different way than maybe before, when I would just sit back and be like, this shit is going to straight to trash or whatever, or to hell, because I might have been quiet. But now I'm like, no, actually, let me speak up and just get my life. And I have fun with that. I have fun gathering the girls. So, Damon, what do you think?
Child, if it's some extra benefits, I must have missed the email when they all went out. Nobody gave me nothing. But what I think a lot of that has actually happened over the last year is around white people and educating them and doing surveys and sister circles and whatever the hell else and all these things to like educate. But it's just like, if y'all needed to do a survey, or you could have just called me last June. We could have skipped that step. Wouldn't have taken a year. And I think we're at the point now where I would like for the work to be less performative and less focused on educating the people that have been in the place of privilege, and more on delivering actual results and benefits to the people not. So I think, like, what do we think some of the ways that corporations can get involved and ensure an actual equity and not just performing and putting on? Jordan?
Money.
Pay me what you owe me.
Pay me. It's the workforce and it's labor. And I think that what a lot of black professionals are experiencing in corporate America right now is that they're being tapped to provide their insights into, whatever their culture is, to help these companies, work on their perception as an inclusive environment. And I think that it's necessary work. I think that, these companies need to actually take in these perspectives. But I mean, this is extra. This is added on to their day to day. And I don't really hear about too many instances where these people are getting paid extra money to sit in these committees and these groups to help these companies develop out their inclusion mission statement and their inclusion strategy. And I think that the step one of like standing out as a company that is doing this for the right reasons is making sure that you're compensating people for their labor.
Right. Tony?
Yeah. That was going to be one of the first things I said, actually, was closing the pay gap between black people and their white counterparts, because we do know that black people, especially black women, are paid significantly less. And I have seen some of that work start to be done at companies. I've seen a lot of people get promotions or get raises or have their salaries increased to where it should be. But yes, I think a lot of the response to Black Lives Matter in the beginning, and even still now, has been performative. But I think that also you have to make sure that black people have the opportunity to tell stories, and not just black stories. I think we get people get bogged down on like the Black people have to tell the Black stories. Yes, but that should not be the only work that the Black people are allowed to do. We can tell so many stories that fall outside of just the Black perspective and Black culture. And I think it's also about making sure that people behind the scenes are people of color, the people that are actually working, the camera crew, the writers in the writer's room, stuff like that. That all needs to be taken into account, because that is when you're actually doing the work, in my opinion. And I also feel like it's about creating safe spaces for marginalized communities to be seen and heard, and providing them with the setting and the tools to learn.
Right.
And that's really important for me, because you need a forum to get in and express like, I'm not well. And you need to have white people in that room too to understand. And I think that helps when you have people who are storytelling that you actually work with. It's helpful. So I think a top-down approach needs to happen, because I feel that when the top says this is important to the company, then everyone else falls in line.
Everybody listens to the top.
Yes, everyone listens to the top. So listen up, y'all.
Listen
I
had to go there once.
I was waiting for the moment.
Listen up.
I'm happy that it came.
It came.
Oh, yes, right on time.
I did this this podcast for my corporation, and one of the questions that they asked me, we talked a lot about this topic and the focus on Black people in fashion and so on. And she asked me, what am I most excited about in the fashion industry? And then I said, I'm most excited about the work that people are doing, like the work that people have done for it to bear fruit, for people who have the lived experience of the urban audience and the streetwear crowds to actually be inside of corporations, designing, telling their own stories, bringing authenticity to those things.
Yeah.
I'm excited about, and I was just like, companies that actually look at the pay differences between women, Black people, brown people, queer people, etc. And like that, to me, is the easiest way to reevaluate and like create equity within your organization. Has anybody called you about a raise randomly? Not me.
100%.
And I just want the action and less of like, I don't want no more panels. No more panels.
No more Zoom panels.
No more Zoom panels.
About inclusion and finding and being authentically you in the office.
Bring your whole self to work.
Like, I can't. I don't have a whole check yet.
Right. So one of the things that's quite topical, though, that corporations are getting involved with are all the voting restrictions around the country. And there's been a whole lot of shit about it where, like, Mitch McConnell then piped up talking about stay out of politics, but y'all can keep donating your money.
Hello?
Listen.
Always.
Right. Hello.
They big mad, okay?
Right. Big mad. So, like.
Wait.
What?
No, that's what they're saying. Like, less.
So do we think that's maybe a good example of corporations getting involved and using their power and whatever to do something that's worth something?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody needs to care about society. Everybody, like corporations included.
Right.
And corporations are such a huge part of American society, economy, everything.
Right.
And I just feel like, take a stance. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I get that politicians don't want you to do it because they know that's where the money flows, and like, obviously these corporations, they have the money to do these big brand campaigns around their position, like what their position is, and like you ain't seen lobbying until you've seen a Coca-Cola
Like a Super Bowl campaign.
do a Super Bowl ad out.
Right.
But like, yeah, I think that do it. I mean, I think it's a responsibility of the company to make sure that not only as customers, but like everyone around them are okay.
Right. Listen, I feel like it's the age-old question that Mother O has blessed us with. Were you silent or were you silenced? And when it comes to these companies, I feel that they absolutely need to take a stand and show us what side of the aisle they're on. Because I want to know where I'm spending my dollars. And I want to know, do our values align? And I also want to know where it is that I'm working. Does the company that I work for values align with mine? And being that I work in marketing, I do know based off of research and data that it's important to younger generations too.
Yeah.
They want to spend their money and they want to consume content and they want to, like, when it comes to consuming media in general, it matters to them if the company
They stand for.
is standing for.
Yeah, and even
things.
young professionals right out of college, the places they want to work when you're trying to recruit the best talent.
Right.
And the shit works. Like in North Carolina a few years ago when they had those bathroom bills, the HS or House Bill 2 or whatever, where they were like trying to ban trans people from using the bathroom of their choice and so on. The NCAA was like, okay, we're going to pull out all of our future tournaments from North Carolina. And they were like, oh, actually,
Wait a minute.
we're going to take that part out. And like that even shows with like people when you start fucking with the money, that's when people pay attention.
Immediately.
I can peacefully march through the streets all I want, but when the girls burn Target down,
Listen.
that's when people start paying attention.
Follow the money.
Enough.
Follow the money.
So looking at kind of, I guess, turning to our individual experiences, what's some of the work that we're doing to kind of further the success of people that look like us, and how has that kind of changed over the last year, if at all? Tony?
Yeah, so I've always been the employee that's very involved within the company outside of just my day job. So, for example, I'm currently like an employee resource group co-chair. My day-to-day job with marketing, I'm responsible for efforts as it relates to responding to things like Black Lives Matter and the broader inclusivity conversation. So it's an ongoing thing for us. Also, I'm a part of a newly formed inclusivity council at Nickelodeon where I work, and it's about making the company a more inclusive place to work, but also holding leadership accountable and kind of being, what do they call them, a dog watcher?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a dog watcher and a whistleblower, okay? So, but also part of doing the work to make sure that other Black professionals are advancing. Like when roles open up from an internal perspective, I'm helping to make sure that, you know how they like to say, like, there are no, like, where are they? There are no diverse candidates. But I'm like, oh, I got a binder full of people that can march right on up here that are qualified for interviewing. So doing stuff like that is important. Like, we have a voice on the inside. We need to make sure that when resumes are coming in, that we demand a diverse pool of candidates. So Jordan, what about you?
So similar, I'm not as involved in the company outside of my day-to-day work as Tony, but I am involved with the mentorship program that our company has for interns. And I decided to do that because I think my experience, you know, and it's very similar to you guys' experience. We don't come from a, you know, lineage of corporate America professionals. So mentorship for me was always really, really critical in my growth and development as a professional. So I see that as sort of like my obligation to give back to people who share my same experience of not really having those resources at home and are looking for that sort of insight into the industry. So I do the mentorship programs, and I'm also a part of a business fraternity at Howard University. So, you know, a lot of people within my field, like marketing majors and stuff like that, they'll reach out to me when they're getting close to like internship level or, you know, entry level stages of their career, and I try to align them with careers based on the connections that we have. Because I actually looked up and I was like, we have a lot of friends that are at different companies that can help like the younger people that we know.
It's important
that
to
are coming up.
Important to make those connections.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we can.
Well,
Damon?
I don't know if things that I've done have changed over the last year because, well, first I didn't work for half of the last year. But I think...
Listen, you had a nice, cute vacation.
It was...
Okay.
Fun
employed.
Was fun employed. But no, I don't think I've changed that much. I've always been about speaking about my experience, especially in the work I do, because so much of it is connected to the culture that I come from. Whenever I'm interviewing, like I've always demanded basically a diverse field of candidates. Like even if I've hired white boy or whoever, I always hire the best person. But like if they send me 65 people and they're all the same, I'll just keep asking for resumes.
Right. We
can do this a whole year.
Right. It's the easy way, and we can do this the hard way.
And most of the times I end up just bringing people from my network. Like I've been a participant in a program called Bragg for it's called the Black Retail Action Group for minorities that want to be in the retail industry. And like I've had mentors there every year for like the past 10 years. And I'm always bringing candidates, bringing resumes, so on and so forth. So yeah, keep doing the same shit. So flashback in time. So we did an episode in our first season called The Magical Negro is Out of Office, talking about our work experiences. And one of the questions centered on our views around assimilation to succeed in corporate America. So we wanted to kind of talk about how those things have either changed or not over the last year. As a refresh for people who have not been with us since season 1, we would typically add the audio in, but the season 1 audio is trash, and we're not going to do that to you.
But very good conversation.
Very good conversation, terrible audio.
Beautiful gowns.
Beautiful, like, hand-me-down gowns. It's like secondhand gowns. Like, beautiful secondhand gowns.
Listen,
Vintage.
Vintage.
you got to start somewhere.
Okay, so when asked about assimilating to succeed, my answer, and this is very telling of our personalities, my answer was, fuck that shit. It's important to live honestly in a space that's been spending that much time. We don't need to blend in to get far. You gain leverage and intrigue not always by focusing on making people feel comfortable. Tony said yes and no. No, you shouldn't have to change who you are to advance to fit in, but sometimes it can help you advance your career by being a chameleon, even though he didn't like that saying. Right. Jordan, 100% yes. I believe it is necessary to assimilate. It's not about merit, but the ability to influence and persuade people. A key aspect is being able to connect with others around you, and you can only get so far by only having working relationships with people. Everybody feel like that accurately sums up?
I mean, that definitely sounds like me.
Verbatim. That's verbatim.
Roll
the tapes back.
And then it's literally like just verbatim
Roll
pieces.
the tapes back.
I wasn't expecting a reading of season 1's dialogue.
Bitch, your answer was a little. I remember that actually, and I was like, "Girl, what?
It ain't changed."
Okay.
What?
You still feel the same way?
I still feel.
You feel like assimilate.
I still feel like assimilate. Like I just want to make something clear. I'm not saying assimilate to white culture. I'm saying assimilate to the company culture. I think that it's only going to help. Like
So,
I think.
but go ahead. No, Jordan, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just think that, like, for example, for Nickelodeon, the culture is.
What is the culture?
Do you work there?
Ooh, baby.
So for Nickelodeon, the culture is making the world a more playful place, right?
Okay.
So for me, I interpret that as like when I'm entering into my, my working relationships with people, that I bring a exuberance with me, that I have a level of optimism with me, that, I don't take myself too serious. And I think that to adapt to that culture, yeah, it may not be innately who I am 100%, but if that's what the culture is, and a lot of these companies, they lay out for you in the interview process what type of people succeed at those companies. And I just think that for me, I don't know. It doesn't tear me apart to have to like shift a little bit to stand out and to be able to be recognized or provide, like, given more exposure opportunities.
Bullshit. I don't know if that's 100% true, because I feel like when you're interviewing with a company,
yeah,
you're interviewing the company just as much as they're interviewing you. So if they're laying out what the culture is and it doesn't sound like something you're into, then why would you work there?
I don't need to be 100% fit.
But are you happy in your current job?
Yeah.
Girl, that's a lie.
That's a lie.
Because I think that's part of it. Like, I am happy at my job because I do show up as the person I am. There are things that I don't like about the job, but I'm not changing who I am to fit into a molding of a thing. I'm bringing who I am, my best self, to the job, and I think that's why they hire me, is because I am the way that I am, and they get to learn that. I don't think that you would enjoy adapting and bending and curbing yourself to what the culture is and still be 100% happy.
It depends. If the culture is something that I feel like is vastly different than who I am as a person, then yeah, I'm not going to be happy there. But if I have a company that I'm interviewing for, and this is the culture, and I think that it's an 80% fit or 90% fit, I don't really care going the extra 10%. Like I'm not one of those people that is just like, bring your full self to work. Be exactly who you are as soon as you wake up and the time you go to sleep. I don't romanticize that.
I don't think that
and I
you
don't
have
care.
I don't think you have to
about
do
that.
that. But
I don't think
I think
being
there's-
yourself is something people romanticize.
Right.
Like you're saying it like it's like you're saying it like it's like some terrible thing to be yourself.
I'm not saying
like it's some romantic ideal that people shouldn't have.
I never said it was a terrible thing to be yourself. What I'm saying is that I don't feel like assimilating is a terrible thing. And I don't feel like me not being 100% the full expression of who I am at a job is a deal breaker for me.
But what I am saying is, how's that working out for you when it comes to really being happy at the job you're at? Like, how's that working out?
I'm fine.
Okay. I don't believe that.
I don't either. Like I don't. Okay, I guess we're not. Okay.
I don't think that's true.
It's just that answer is totally different from every answer we have about you and how you feel about work.
What we're saying is when you said your answer is the same, talking about assimilating to work and talking about bending and curving yourself and literally like if there are things you're not happy with just because that this is how they operate, you're going to operate in that way. Is that still peachy keen for you? And you're like, yes. And I don't think that's true.
It's fine for what I want right now. At one day I will be an entrepreneur and I will have my own business 100%. But until then, I'm working for someone else and I don't mind.
Okay.
It's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. I also don't like waking up every day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. But I do it because that's the job. For me, like assimilating to the company culture is just a part of the job description as the responsibilities. And that's how I look at it.
If it was just, if it would be in the roles and responsibilities. If it were part of the responsibilities, it's not.
It's not, but it's at that paragraph that's on top of it before you go into the roles and responsibilities.
No, it's not. Like you don't.
The type of person that is in this job is energetic. It has a can-do attitude. Is entrepreneurial spirit. Is used to has a team attitude, a good spirit. Things. Yeah, but that's the culture. They're outlining what the culture is.
But that's what I said.
And you're agreeing to acculturate to that.
That's what I'm saying. When you interview for a job, you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. So if it's not something you're happy with, then you shouldn't do it. You should find another company that culture actually matches what you're into.
I just think that I don't necessarily need a dream job.
No,
you know what I mean?
I get that.
I'm not looking for a job to check off every single box. It is unrealistic, and for me, it's just like I don't really care. It's a part of the job for me, and I feel like there could be jobs that maybe it's a little bit more my speed. Maybe they use more profanity. Maybe they drink more in the middle of the day and they have more fun and there's parties and blah, blah, blah. And that's a little bit more in line with my personality. But do I really need all those things at work? Well, I don't think so.
Right. But
I don't need
I'm not
work
necessarily even talking about completely those things. That's part of it. But just on a day-to-day basis, like your daily responsibilities that you have with the team you're on and just work styles.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about work styles, and I feel like if your work style is drastically different from your boss's and you're not willing to have a conversation with them to say, hey, this is how I best learn and operate, there's no middle ground there. I think it does a disservice to you because you won't be happy, and you're saying you're okay with doing those things, and I don't think that's true. I don't think you're happy.
Look, I don't know. I just feel like for me it's a part of the job.
Okay, well that was very riveting. And your answer still stands.
Yes.
100% assimilate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was ironic. Yeah, no, my answer's the same too.
Your answer's the same?
Yeah.
To mine?
Why?
I think, yeah.
I can pick a job. Yeah, you're right. Read the top of it. If I don't like that shit, I ain't doing it.
Right.
I live in New York. There are a million jobs.
Right. I feel like my views have only been amplified. Like, it's never a good idea to 100% assimilate, but it's also a good idea to be smart and play the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So, finally, do we think that we are generally having the wrong conversation? Like, should conversations be focused more on Black entrepreneurship and Black wealth more so than seats at corporate tables? Tony.
I feel like entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. But yes, I do think that we have to figure out ways to create spaces ourselves that don't currently exist. And so kind of like what we're doing with this podcast, this is entrepreneurial. I think that I'm the least entrepreneurial out of the three of us. I feel like you two are by far and large definitely more self-starters than I am, maybe Jordan the most. But I do think it's important for people to take space in the corporate side of things as well. I think both need to happen from a holistic standpoint, because corporate is just a trajectory of a lot of people. So I think we need people that are there paving a way and pulling up people behind them. So it's a little bit of both, in my opinion. But entrepreneurship is absolutely like the way to go if you can pull up your sleeves and make it happen. Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add there. I think that both are really important. I think that we definitely need Black minds within these established institutions making change, because these corporations, they do have a lot of influence. And I think that there are, Black professionals who do really well in corporate environments, and their personalities fit within those sort of work environments. So I feel like we need those people there. And then we need the people who, are more interested in building something from the ground up.
Yeah.
I just, I don't want to push either way, because like I don't want it to be like people feeling like, oh, I got to be entrepreneurs, so let me throw a T-shirt up on Etsy. I'm like, it's not that.
Yeah. No, for me, it's like a little bit of building the plane while flying it. Like you have the plane, the establishment over here in corporate that's already going, but then you over here building another plane. So I think you need to be you have to have your 9 to 5 and then your 5 to 9.
Yeah. I think it's really important. Like a lot of people, especially on social media, because people love to make things into memes, but I've all been talking about like multiple streams of income, or like whatever your hustle is if people used to say, but now it's multiple streams of income. And I think that's important. It's something that people haven't told people in our backgrounds a lot. It's just like, oh, you got a good job, so don't mess that up. It's just like, I can have that good job. I can do things on the side. I can decide at some point in my career to do something different. I can recognize that I've been laid off twice. And for them, the bottom line is the most important thing that's going to happen at that company. And I don't take that personally.
Yeah.
That's part of the game I'm playing in right now. So I think both agreed. Both things are important, and let's do it all. Black people take over the world.
Now check that. Well, all right, y'all. That's all the time we have this week. Let us know your questions and comments on Instagram at Surface Level Podcast, or our official website, surfacelevelpodcast.com. You can watch our response in our new video series, Surface Level Sound Off, on Instagram and YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, please rate, review, and subscribe. And remember, stay curious.